Friends and family of John Mendoza Jr. continue calling for justice after the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office fired the deputy involved in the 18-year-old's death. Fox 26's Karys Belger joining us live in studio. Karys, what can you tell us?
Well, family members tell me the firing of former deputy Kevin Tippett is a step in the right direction, but they say they're still waiting for justice. Tippett was fired this week after Sheriff Bo Stallman said an internal investigation found he violated department policy involving the handling and discharge of his firearm. The firing stems from the shooting death of 18-year-old John Mendoza Jr. earlier this month in Lake Jackson. And while Tippett lost his job, no criminal charges have been filed. Today, loved ones gathered for a balloon release honoring Mendoza and renewed their calls for accountability. Friends and family shared memories of Mendoza and reflected on his impact and the impact the death continues to have on those who knew him. Many also said they'll continue pushing for answers as the investigation moves forward.
No matter how long they try to drag out this investigation, we all got to stay strong, and we all got to keep fighting, keep marching, and keep screaming his name until justice is served.
Well, Karys, does the deputy being fired mean criminal charges could be next?
Well, experts tell me not necessarily. Attorney Chris Tritico says violating department policy and committing a crime are two separate issues.
The fact that he has been terminated from employment for violating weapons policy, I think, is an indication of the way this is going to go. But yet, I'm not going to make any judgments until all the evidence is there.
You can violate department policy and not commit a crime, and you can violate department policy and not commit civil rights violations. Those are three entirely different things, but it can also all play into the same thing.
Now, both experts say the firing is significant, but caution it does not automatically mean criminal charges are coming. The Texas Rangers continue investigating the shooting. Meanwhile, Mendoza's family says they are continuing to push for justice as they wait to learn whether anyone will be held criminally responsible.